Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Madison Holla, and I make musical theater audition videos, so applying to college, and I have a lot, so check those out if you're new, and if you haven't. So I wanted to make this video because I want you guys to have one less thing to worry about, because everything is just crazy and a lot of these auditions are going to be probably over Zoom or something like that, and it is quite different from it being in person. And if you end up going to your auditions and find challenges that I don't address in this video, reach out to me either in the comments or through Instagram so I can make another video if that's needed. So the first thing I wanted to cover was a little positivity, because I think that is a thing that we all need a little bit more of. Chances are you've been very stressed about the fact that these are going to be online, and it feels like you're the only person in this boat, but everybody is going through this. And I feel like knowing that should make you feel just a little bit better, because you're not alone and everybody has to navigate this, and the auditors are going to know this because everybody's going through it. They're going to understand. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. So some other positives to think about: you won't have to travel to each school, which, trust me, you will save so much time. You will also, or your parents will save a lot of money because you are not traveling and eating out and paying for these hotels. So that's a lot of money. And you can also be in the comfort of your own home, and you probably won't be as stressed because it is online and not in person, which isn't as scary. Okay, so the first thing you need to start thinking about is where you're going to do your auditions in your house or wherever you end up doing them. The things you need to think of with that is your lighting, your Wi-Fi, the noise level, and your background. I would say that the first most important thing is your Wi-Fi, because you don't want to have connection issues during your audition. And then second, I would say, is your noise level, because you don't want to have a ton of background noise if you can help it. So you should be telling your family when your auditions are so that they can be away and be quiet, and also make sure your pets are not running around in the background of your Zoom. The next priority is lighting. You want to have a light source coming from in front of you. So I have a window in front of me, and natural light works the best if you can get natural light. And if not, you can get a little clip light that clips onto your computer, which I will link in the description. And just by the way, I will be linking a lot of things in the audition for you guys to make this all easier, so definitely check below. And also, if I come up with more tips as I'm editing, I will put that in the description below under additional tips. So the last priority is your background. Now, if I was auditioning, this is where I would do it, because this place is where I can get the best Wi-Fi, the best lighting. However, the background is kind of distracting because there is a lot going on in it. But if you can have just a blank wall or a sheet hung up, that is the best. But I would prioritize lighting and Wi-Fi and noise level before the background, because with lighting, you want them to be able to see your facial expressions, which is more important than what's going on behind you. So just think about that in the order of things to prioritize. And if you can't tick all the boxes, then it's okay. Just focus on what you can do and don't stress over the rest. Another thing that is extremely important is your sound. You are going to want to get a USB mic, and these can be kind of expensive, but you are saving a lot of money not paying for hotels, so hopefully you'll be able to come up with the cost for that. Now, when you're on Zoom, you don't notice it because you can't hear it, but to the other person, when you are singing, your sound quality is not going to be very good, which is why a mic is very, very important. So you should get a USB mic that plugs into your computer. And if you don't have a USB port, then you can get an adapter on Amazon. So I recommend either the Snowball or the Blue Yeti. And apparently you can actually rent a mic from the library, or so I've been told. I don't know if these are mics that are compatible with computers, but it is worth checking. And I also have videos in the description with how to set up different mics. And I do have a website linked under additional tips that shows you the exact Zoom settings you want to have, and also gives you tips if you do end up getting a Blue Yeti microphone. Next, some things to consider with your setup. You want your computer's camera to be at eye level. You don't want to be looking very far down, and you don't want to have to look very far up. So you might have to set it on boxes. If you have like a desk that moves up by cranking it, something like that. For my voice lessons, I use boxes. It works. You should also be performing to the camera and not above it, because it is different with online auditions. And when you are performing, you want to be in your scene and not looking at yourself and how you look or the reactions of the auditors. It is more important to be in your scene, and that is easier said than done, but do your best. Next, know how far away you need to be from your camera to be seen, even if you move, but to also be visible with your facial expressions. And you also want to make sure that you're not too close, that your sound is way too loud into the microphone, or too far away that they can't hear you. And the next thing, if possible, try and have your phone next to you so that you don't have to walk forward to play your music and then back. And also, you should have your music being played on something that isn't the computer that you are performing on. It can be on a different computer, it could be on a phone, an iPad, but you don't want it to be the computer that you're having your audition on. So personally, what I do is I have a music stand and I can put that like right off the camera so I can easily just click and then not have to move. But if you can't do that, something that you should try and do is have a few seconds of just nothingness at the beginning of your piano track, because you don't want the music to start as you are stepping back to where you're going to stand for your audition, because then you're just not making the most of your moment before and the beginning of your scene, and you really want to be in the moment and not get into the moment after it's already started. Which brings me to my next point. You are not going to be able to have an accompanist over Zoom, so you're going to have your tracks recorded before your audition, which is actually a pretty great thing because you have the security of knowing what your track sounds like. You could practice with it a million times and there's no risk of your pianist messing up or you giving the wrong tempo, which is like a really great thing. And again, make sure to ask whoever is recording your accompaniment to put a few seconds of nothingness before your first chord or before your intro. And if you don't have anybody to play your music, you can get tracks on the Piano Tracks app. You can also actually send them your music and pay for them to play it, which I will be linking in the description below if you're interested in that. Some other general tips: practice in your audition outfit, and I did just make a video on what to wear for your pre-screens and in-person auditions, as well as your dance calls. Another thing, practice your slate. This is the thing that people don't do, and then they end up stumbling over their words. So practice that several times, but make sure it is not robotic. Another thing that you need to do is practice over Zoom. You can just have yourself and record yourself on Zoom, sing your songs. You're going to have to play around with it, but watch the recording after. Make sure the lighting is good. Make sure you are louder than your accompaniment. Make sure your sound is good. This is so crucial. If you can Zoom with somebody and have them record it and then they can send what it sounds like to them, that would be even more helpful. And this will take a lot of playing around, but it is so important to do this and not just be like, well, I hope it goes well in my audition. I'll just wing it, you know? It is so important to play around with it and figure it out before your audition so you can sound your best over a computer. Another thing to think about, you might want to test the different computers in your house, because some computers might not look like it, but they have better visuals over Zoom than others. And if you can use somebody else's computer for your audition, that will make you look less grainy. That is going to be so great because they want to see your facial expressions. But if you don't have good lighting and if your camera is really bad quality on your computer, it will be hard to see that. So if you can't find a computer that has good enough quality, you can use your phone. I would say only do this if you really need to, if it's really that bad, because Zoom is a little bit more limited on your phone. But if you do have to do that, you can upload your accompaniment to Dropbox and then you can play it off of a computer. Another thing is to have questions prepared, because they're probably going to ask you if you have any questions, and even if you don't, you want to ask a question. So don't ask what they would change about their program or what they don't like about it. They get that all the time. You can ask them to give you 3 words to describe the atmosphere of the program or the school. You can also ask what drove them to teach at that school and why they wanted to teach there. You can also ask about the senior showcase and stuff like that, but don't ask a question that can be found on their website very easily. You should also be prepared with 3 reasons why you want to go to that school, because you don't want to be caught off guard if they ask you this. Another thing, it is so important to be in the right mindset. It is such a hard thing to do, but you probably won't be as excited to go to your auditions because you can't see the school. But you want to go to every audition no matter what and act like that is a school you are going to go to. This will not only help you have confidence, but it will help you seem less uninterested because it is easy to seem uninterested over Zoom. So make sure you do this. And then the last thing, your dance calls. Now, you could do this outside if it's not too cold because you don't need to worry about sound because you're probably just gonna have yourself muted. You could also ask your school if you could use their stage or something like that, but wherever you choose, make sure that you can easily be seen no matter how far you move. And also, you want to mentally mark where you can be seen and where you can't be seen off the camera so that you can make sure you're staying inside those lines. The other difference with it being online is their left might be your right, and if you don't practice learning a dance the opposite way and just do it in your dance call, it is going to be so difficult. So I do have a video on how to become a better dancer quick, and in that video I do have links to playlists with online dance tutorials, but practicing with Joseph Corella and people like that, he is mirrored, so you're going to do the opposite of what he is doing, and it does get easier. So make sure you practice that. But something you can do is put tape on both sides of your computer and put an L for left on the right side and then an R for right on the left side. So the tape is just gonna help you know which way they're moving so that you can translate it really quickly to which side you're going to. So to show you an example setup, this is what mine looks like. As you can see, they're on boxes and I have the best Wi-Fi in the house here. And behind me, there is natural light, and I do have the option of having lights on behind me, but I choose not to because I don't want to be backlit. The camera is eye level and the microphone is mouth level. Right nearby, I have my water bottle, and then right off camera, I would have my phone for my music and my speaker, which is actually on the opposite side of my mic because I don't want it to be too loud, but I want to be able to hear it myself. And then I also have my computer plugged in because you don't want to have to get your charger and you don't want it to die during your audition. So that is everything I have for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and hopefully you feel like you can be more prepared for your live online auditions. Let me know if you have any questions and I will answer them. Leave them in the comments below. Make sure to look at the description and like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day and have the best of luck at your auditions. Bye.